Happy New Year, everybody! In this episode of NYY Recaps, I'll fill you in on the career and baseball philosophy of Brian Sabean, the newest right-hand man for GM Brian Cashman. Also, we'll talk about batting averages and how they'll be affected by banning the shift. It might not be as drastic a change as some of you are expecting. Also, we'll talk about the exciting performance of Oswaldo Cabrera during his first taste of big league action. And we'll be considering the utility role and what fans can expect from DJ LeMahieu in the coming season. So grab your glove. It's time for a little January baseball.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
How's it going, everybody? Yesterday, as I was wrapping up my AI-generated baseball stadiums video, which you should watch if you haven't, by the way, I was alerted by my watch that the Yankees had signed Brian Sabean. Now, Brian Sabean is an executive that's very well respected in baseball. He won 3 World Series championships with the Giants. And he also was the guy who primarily drafted Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettitte, Jorge Posada. He was instrumental in putting together the Yankees dynasty of the 90s. And he's somebody who's excellent at evaluating minor league players. And I think that this is a fantastic and underrated move that the Yankees have made. I saw some speculation right away, but then I also saw Michael Kay shut it down, so I'll echo his sentiment that Brian Sabean was brought in as kind of a backup plan for Brian Cashman, but I really don't think that the Yankees are trying to put Brian Cashman in a box or put any pressure on him by bringing in Brian Sabean. This seems like a move where Brian Cashman is just trying to get another experienced baseball executive mind in the room. And Sabean returning to his roots seems like something that he would want to do at the end of his career. Maybe get another World Series championship. Seems like an acknowledgement that the Yankees have a shot. And an acknowledgement that the Yankees understand that they need to do a better job with their internal scouting and development. I'd imagine that right now they're having Sabean take a look at their prospects, take a look at the guys like Spencer Jones and Jason Dominguez, Anthony Volpe, Oswaldo Peraza, just to kind of get a feel for the system. And he's going through all the scouting reports and he's going to make some recommendations. You know, these are the guys that we should hang on to, in my opinion. These are the guys that can be included in any kind of deals moving forward. This is a savvy pickup by Brian Cashman, and I like the move. Now, not to beat a dead horse, but the Yankees still do have some off-the-field work this winter. We still don't have a reliable left field option, unless you want to go with the kid, Oswaldo Cabrera, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. There's still some bullpen work, I think, that can be done. Andrew Chapin is still out there, curiously. I'm still not satisfied with the third base situation. The January calendar art for my Yankees calendar is Josh Donaldson, and I'm already tired of looking at him this year. And I don't know if I can stomach an entire season of watching him wail and bail and end up missing and popping up and, you know, clearly guessing on pitches, taking strikes right down the middle and swinging at bad pitches in the dirt late in the count. I just can't deal with another season of that, no matter how good his defense is. So hopefully the Yankees can make some kind of an upgrade there, but I'm not confident they will. I think that they still realize that their offense is not better than it was last season. Now, presumably they'll have DJ LeMahieu back, for the playoffs if he's not hurt. He's gotten hurt the last 2 years. And again, we'll talk about DJ later in the episode. But it's worth noting that they really haven't made any significant additions on offense beyond the team that got eliminated by the Astros in the playoffs. So you would like to think that they'll make some kind of an upgrade. What it is remains a mystery. The big mystery move that was being worked on seems to have fizzled. Either that or, there's some kind of a stalemate in the negotiations because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen any movement on that front. So stay tuned, I guess. We'll tackle that as we as news breaks. One of the things that was more exciting about the 2022 season was the emergence of Oswaldo Cabrera, the switch-hitting utility man who played a little bit of second base, shortstop, and third base in the minors, and then got thrust into the outfield when he got to the major leagues and did an absolutely phenomenal job in right field. He also looked really good at third base, at shortstop. I mean, this kid was defensively fantastic wherever you put him. And I'm not opposed to putting him in left field next season. If the Yankees don't go out and trade for somebody or sign somebody, I would 1,000% rather have Oswaldo Cabrera in left field than Aaron Hicks. But I'd also rather have him at third base than Josh Donaldson. Yankees still have IKF, who could probably play third base instead of Josh Donaldson if you're somehow able to move him. But for a moment, let's focus on Oswaldo Cabrera, because I think he's going to be the real deal. I mean, this guy showcased power in the minor leagues. He had 29 home runs in 2021 between AA and AAA. That was really his breakout season. 24 of those home runs came at AA, and then 5 home runs at AAA, where he hit 500 over 36 plate appearances, 15 for 30. So the power really ticked up. He got off to a slow start. In 2022, he had some injuries, but near the midway point of the season, he finally got it going. He hit 262 with 8 home runs, 29 RBIs, and an 832 OPS for AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre. And then the 23-year-old got called up to the major leagues, where in 44 games, 171 plate appearances, he had a 740 OPS, so it ticked slightly downward, but still pretty impressive for a rookie. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs. And we were told that he was a much better hitter from the left side of the plate. He had 138 plate appearances as a lefty, and he hit 238. And then as a right-handed hitter, he had 33 plate appearances, so nowhere near the sample size, but he hit 286. All 6 of his home runs came from the left side of the plate. And when you watch him hit, and you think about other switch hitters, to me, the guy that he reminds me the most of is Carlos Beltran. They've got similar approaches from both sides of the plate. And when I think about Oswaldo Cabrera, the word that comes to mind in terms of his at-bats, anyway, is competitive. He didn't dominate anybody. He wasn't amazing, but it seemed like he was always having good at-bats. He did have some holes in his swing. From the left-hand side, if you throw him a slider down and in, he would chase it, and he would also go above the zone, which is, not a good thing considering a lot of pitchers throw that high fastball up in the zone these days. But as he gets better and more refined with his approach and his command of the strike zone, I think you're going to see him be a really good hitter. He's one guy that I wouldn't be opposed to giving a real shot at left field. I think, maybe 260 hitter next season, anywhere from 15 to 25 home runs, and he's got some speed, and he's got a great arm. He's in the 90th percentile of arm strength. I'm really excited about what he can do. And if the Yankees don't end up going out and getting somebody for left field, like a Brian Reynolds or, really anybody, I would stick with Oswaldo Cabrera as my left fielder. I know that Aaron Hicks makes a lot more money, and the Yankees would like him to bounce back, and they think he's going to be healthy. Right now, Cabrera's a better player. Just from watching, the eye test, Cabrera's a better player. Better on defense, more speed, more athleticism. Arm is probably about the same, and Hicks has a really good arm. StatCast supports that it bounced back a little bit last year. I didn't necessarily see it, but StatCast doesn't lie. Data doesn't lie. So I would go with Cabrera should the Yankees choose not to go out and make some kind of other upgrade. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is batting average and how it relates to the elimination of the overshift in Major League Baseball. I saw a post on Twitter yesterday where someone was asking how many 300 hitters they thought the Yankees would have next season with the elimination of the shift. And I saw people listing 4 or 5 names. I said 1, Aaron Judge, who hit over 300 this season. He hit 311. That led the Yankees. The next highest batting average for a regular on the Yankees was Isiah Kiner-Falefa and DJ LeMahieu, who both tied at 261. That's 39 points below 300. Now, I'm sorry, but the shift is not going to give many players 40 points in batting average, if anybody. Now, also keep in mind that you can still move the outfield. So teams will take, against a good pull lefty, they'll take their left fielder and they'll move him behind second base, where the second baseman would play, not behind second base, the bag. And they'll shift their center fielder over towards more of a left center field position. Now, this might lead to more doubles and triples if somebody beats the shift with a fly ball, but it's not going to lead to 40 points in batting average being added to any given player. It's hard to imagine Isiah Kiner-Falefa becoming a 300 hitter next season. And DJ LeMahieu, who we'll get to in a second, I think his days of hitting 300 might be behind him just because of the injuries. He's had a lot of injuries. He's 34 years old, headed into next season. And, you know, dealing with the foot injury last year that did not require surgery, apparently. I'm a little bit worried. You know, if he had had the surgery, I would be a little bit less worried. You know, but the fact that he didn't get it strategically corrected, it's still a possibility that this mysterious, weird toe fracture that he had, you know, could be weakened and could wear down over a full season. Now, DJ LeMahieu won the Gold Glove Award for the utility player position. This was a new Gold Glove that they're giving out. And I think he needs to slip back into that role next season. He played a lot of third base this season, alternating with Josh Donaldson, and to their credit, the two of them combined to be outstanding defensively, DJ especially. But third base is called the hot corner for a reason. It's tough on the body. To me, if IKF is still on the team, he becomes your fill-in at third base for Josh Donaldson. And honestly, look, this is just how the team is constructed right now. It may change, and if it were me, it would change. We would have a real third baseman who can hit and play defense. Not sure who that is, but I wouldn't go with Josh Donaldson. And I think that the days of DJ LeMahieu playing third base might need to come to an end just to preserve his body a little bit more. Second base is a little bit easier on the body. First base as well. I would kind of keep him on the right side of the infield and keep his bat healthy because you're going to need that contact option in the playoffs. Maybe let him play third base once in a while just to stay, you know, kind of fresh at the position. That way, if you need him in the playoffs at third base, he can shift over there. But really what you want from DJ LeMahieu is to be that utility player that can pick up hits from a number of different positions, provide occasional power, but you need him to be healthy. When he loses the pop that he has, he becomes a very soft hitter. And last year, just 261 with a 734 OPS. Again, that's lower than Oswaldo Cabrera. He did have 18 doubles. He had 12 home runs. Struck out 71 times, walked 67 times. He's effective. 357 on base percentage. But if you can have him hitting 290 because he's healthy rather than 261, I think that's going to work out a lot better for your team. Now, if you look at the way his year broke down, he was playing very, very well until he had that injury. In the first half, he hit 279. In the second half, he hit 228. That's not DJ LeMahieu. He hit 344 in July, 211 in August, and then in just 8 games in September, hit 143. So it was soft contact. It was not something that he could play through effectively, even though he tried, and I appreciate the effort. But we got to keep him healthy next year. He's going to be a valuable part of this team. I saw somebody in that same thread say DJ's going to hit 330. I think the days of DJ hitting 330 over a full season are over. Now, we did hit 288 in April, slumped in May, 229, built his way back up in June, 272, before hitting 344 in July. I think if you can get him to hit around that 288 mark that he had in April for the whole season, 796 OPS, and instead of playing 125 games like he did last season, or instead of playing 150 games like he did in 2021, maybe he plays in 110 games. Maybe he just takes a few more days off throughout the course of the summer, and he can stay healthy. And the last thing that we got to talk about is George Steinbrenner, who bought the Yankees 50 years ago this week in 1973. How the hell is 1973 50 years ago? I still think of it as 20 years ago. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. I was born in 83, so I'll be turning 40 this year. But, the bulk of my memories are from the 90s, and I always think of the 70s for some reason as like 20 years ago because, for some reason I haven't grasped the concept that time continues to move forward. But Steinbrenner's impact on the Yankees was just incredible. It was a great investment, and he was a controversial figure, but there's no denying the impact that he had was profound. Under his ownership, the team won 7 World Series championships. And for all of his, controversy, there was no denying the fact that he was one of us. He wanted to win as badly or worse than a lot of us do. I mean, the man was committed. You can never say anything about him not being in it to win it every season. And I think that's what we missed. And, he was very vocal. Fans like to know that their frustrations are also being felt by ownership and that they're not off on some yacht somewhere or flying around in some jet. Steinbrenner was there. And I know that as a fan, it meant a lot to me that it was more than a business. It was a passion. So I think that was one of the crucial moments in not only sports history, Yankees history, but American business history. Maybe even American history at large. 50 years ago this week, George Steinbrenner became the owner of the Yankees, and as they say, the rest was history. I will see you when news breaks, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'm still anti-Dominguez trade for Reynolds. I still want to hang on to the Martian. As nice a player as Reynolds is, I think the Dominguez will be the same type of player in just a couple of years. So hang in there, and hopefully we'll have some news soon. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and check out NYY Recaps on all your favorite podcast platforms. The #1 YouTube post-game show for the New York Yankees, and we're coming right back at you this year with more every single game. I'll see you then. Ball game over.